Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, today we're going to be talking about some celebs, but not in a super fun, sexy way. No, today we're going to be doing work. We're going to be doing the work we need to do as women, which is creating sisterhood, being an alpha, being a leader, and being a champion for people who we love. We're going to talk about Evan Rachel Wood and Marilyn Manson, and not just this horrifying haunted house of a saga, but what we can learn from it. What we can do to help people who might be in Evan's situation. How can we help a friend who's in trouble, in a toxic, maybe abusive relationship? I'm going to talk about the tactics that work, some actual, real world logistical things you can do. I'm going to give you some resources. But I'm also going to tell you the number one worst tactic that's actually going to drive them back to this douchebag and keep them in a potentially dangerous situation longer. Because not all help is created equal. Not all interventions have a positive outcome. So we need to be smarter about how we help people we love and not just like a battering ram. There's an art to it, but we're artists in this category. But before we get started, just want to tell you guys we have a brand new Shall Literature Book Club selection. This is a book that has changed my life. It's called Essentialism. It's a quick, easy read. It's super condensed because it's about being essential and not fluffy. It's an excellent primer for how to keep focused on the things that matter in your life and stop being a slave to this I have to do it all mentality, grind culture, and team no days off. Nah. This book is going to help you figure out not how to do everything, but how to do the right things, how to have the right career goals and a streamlined schedule, how to have the right relationships, and how to cast off things that don't serve you. So whether or not you're trying to make your side hustle your full-time business or just have a more efficient life or set up boundaries in your personal life, this is an excellent book. It is absolutely changed my life. So you can just pick it up in the link down there. We're going to talk about it in maybe 2 weeks. Also, be sure to sign up for my new blog, Eat, Pray, Love. It's a super intimate, basically a diary. It's a journal into my life and the things I'm going through and the boy dramas. And, I impart lessons on here based on stuff that I go through and learn. And this is all of that in real time. And some of you guys are like, shouldn't it be pray, P-R-A-Y? No, girl, that's already a thing. P-R-E-Y, pray. It's a pun. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so pick that up. Also, every Wednesday, be sure to tune into XO Radio. It's my brand new radio show on the Station Head app. Do we chart number 2 last week? Out of how many shows? 5? Oh, no, out of 200,000. So come on back. Next episode, we're going to be breaking down my sexiest hookup songs because Valentine's Day is coming. Speaking of, we have some fantastic Shallentine's Day coverage coming up for you all next week. We're going to do some stuff on how to have a great long distance Valentine's Day, how to cope if you're single on Valentine's Day. And then we're going to be doing some sexy content over on the Flaze app, which are subscription only, ad-free, uncensored platform. Go ahead and sign up over there. We've got a video up right now about threesomes, another one coming about role play. It's good stuff. So let's talk Evan and Marilyn. Fuck, dude. You know what's annoying? I was always kind of a fan of Marilyn Manson. Not his music. I mean, my God. Music. But whenever I would hear him in interviews, he was incredibly eloquent, very well spoken, very philosophical. And I was like, wow. But I was always very impressed with him. Those days are gone. Evan Rachel Wood, she's a star of HBO's Westworld and just an all-around adorable person. She was married to Jamie Bell, who also is adorable. He seems like a little wood nymph, which is a little sprite. But one of my friends told me he's freaky. He's maybe single, go get him. Evan has talked a lot in the past about being a domestic abuse survivor, but she never named who this person was. And she's testified for the House Judiciary Subcommittee in, I think, 2018 to get the Domestic Abuse Survivors Bill of Rights Act passed in all 50 states. 2018, and that wasn't a bill, an act in all 50 states? What the fuck, man? Why do people hate women so much? Women are great. And you know what's funny? The people who hate women most are the ones who are the most obsessed with them, right? They're obsessed with us. They're guys who watch porn and they fixate and they watch us. It's but you hate us, but you're obsessed with us. You're all fucking Brett Kavanaugh out here. Can you just pick a lane? If you love us, why don't you be lovers? Why don't you love us and demonstrate love? It's so bizarre. Men are so incredibly bizarre. So she's spoken a lot about this. And last year, she spoke to the California Congress Council, the California government, to get the Phoenix Act passed, which was an act that would extend the amount of time a domestic abuse survivor has to file charges against her abuser. And the act passed. It's now a law in California. Great job. And, that happened and she hasn't brought it up again until February 1st. She goes on Instagram. She's like, listen, my abuser is Brian Warner, aka Marilyn Manson. His name is Brian, right? Brian. I've never met a Brian I could tolerate, honestly. But she went to town talking about Marilyn Manson, that he basically groomed her. They met when she was a teenager. She was like 18, maybe younger, and he was 36. And he groomed her into this extremely abusive relationship. And if she tried to leave, he would threaten to kill himself. And then she would come over and try to pacify him. And he'd like tie her up and shock her basically with a cattle prod and abuse her and sleep deprive her until she consented to weird sexual things. I mean, it's just, let's read from stuff that Marilyn Manson himself has said. He wrote an autobiography, like the Who's Who of I Don't Fucking Care. Who the fuck read that? He wrote it in 1999, The Long, Hard Road Out of Hell. Page 6 reports. He even admitted to coming close to carrying out the perfect murder of a former bandmate and lover named Nancy, getting spooked moments before trying to burn her to death in her home in early 1990s. This was the first time I had ever seriously considered murder. She had to die, he wrote. He's 52 now. Trash. While I didn't think it was right to take a human life, I didn't think it was right to deny myself the chance of causing someone to die either. Especially someone whose existence meant so little to the world and herself. At the time, taking someone's life seemed like a necessary growing and learning experience, like losing your virginity or having a child. What? It gets like infinitely worse. It's like, and then he's like, he recalled how he and another friend harassed a hot brunette who they both had a crush on, but she wouldn't even acknowledge us. I fell back on my usual deviant ways of getting a girl's attention. Malicious asinine behavior, saying they would make threatening calls every day for nearly a month. At first, the calls were harmless, but they quickly grew meaner. He writes it. This is his own autobiography. We're watching you, he would threaten her. You just better not leave work tonight because we're going to rape you in the parking lot and then crush you underneath your own car. Who the fuck is this guy? So, what do if you're looking at an Evan Marilyn dynamic with someone you love and you're just tearing your hair out because you don't know how to get her out of it? And let me say something. It doesn't have to be to the level of, a guy is tying my friend up and shocking her with a cattle prod. It doesn't have to be that level in our own lives before we leave. It doesn't. I always say, like, D's get degrees, but we're A+ students. I don't need a guy to be like collecting kitten skulls for me to be like, no, you're not good enough to be in my life. Like, this is not what we're doing. This is not what we're doing. And I'm saying that because I don't want you to feel like you have to wait until your friend is getting the shit beat out of her to step in and be like, hey, are you okay? I think a lot of times we assume people are going to reach out for help. And when we're in a situation when we need help, we assume other people are going to come to us, right? And I talked to you guys about this. It's like, I was so clinically depressed and my friends didn't do anything. It's like, well, did you ask them for help? Well, no, they just should have known. Listen, everyone's lives are busy. Humans, by design, focus only on their own lives versus other people's lives and their problems. So if you need help, ask for it. We might do another video on how to do this, on how to ask for help. But my point is, don't assume that your friend is fine just because she hasn't come to your door like in the rain crying and screaming. Sometimes just sitting down with someone and being like, really, how are you? Tell me, is all someone needs for the floodgates to open and to feel heard and listened to. And if they're in a toxic or abusive relationship, that is the number one thing they're not getting. They don't have any power. They don't have a voice. They don't have anything like that. They don't feel like they have any personal agency or choices. So for you to go to them and be like, tell me, I'm here, I'm listening. So I want to read to you a little bit from an article by Dr. Shawn Byrne, a lady, and she's got like big, pretty, like gray silver hair. Like, yeah, like she's like an Olympian, like on Mount Olympus. She's really pretty. So she's a doctor. She's a doctor of psychology. And she wrote an article on how to help people in an abusive relationship. And it was really interesting because, I'll link it below. It was interesting because she talked about ways to help and then the ways not to help. The way not to help someone in an abusive relationship is to bully them, is to boss them around. Kristen, you need to leave. What are you fucking doing? Come on, what are you, dumb? Why do you want to be with this guy? He's such an asshole. What are you doing? Does that feel aggressive? It felt aggressive to do, and it's aggressive to hear. And if someone's in a toxic relationship, they already feel aggressed all the time, right? And so for you to come at them big and bombastic like that, even though it's coming from a place of love, just feels like more abuse and control, right? They need a safe space. Think about when you've been in trouble, or when you've been like, I think James is cheating on me. What would you have wanted your friends to say? You know what? Why would you stay with someone? You're not dumb. Come on. What? You have to leave him right now. Text him right now and tell him it's over. And it's like, I can't just stop. But the friends who are like, I'm so sorry. Like, what's going on? How do you feel? Well, of course you love him. I understand that. People who give you that safe space, you can arrive at your own conclusions usually a lot faster. So not all sort of interventions are created equal, right? There's a time for tough love, but when you're dealing with someone who's already getting a lot of toughness from a shitty partner, this is not that time. So this is what she says in her article. How can we effectively help? Experts suggest telling the victim gently and without judgment that you're concerned for their safety or emotional or physical health or whatever it might be. Listen, believe them, and say, I'm sorry this is happening to you. I know it's complicated. It's not your fault. You don't deserve this. This doesn't change how I feel about you. Because unsolicited intervention can feel disrespectful and controlling, it's best to tread carefully. Gently push them in the direction. It's best to ask questions. Are you open to getting medical attention? Calling a hotline, reporting the stalking, going to the police, talking to an attorney. Avoid telling them what they must do. Also, please understand that if you're texting your friend, their shitty partner might be checking these texts, listening to their messages. So tread carefully, like in print also. Don't be like, are you still with that fucking douche, Brian? Just be like, hey babe, like, can you talk later? I'd love to see you. So that's how you can approach it from an emotional standpoint. What do you need? You would be surprised how rarely people ask that. What do you need? Tell me what you need. And it might be, I just need someone to listen. Okay. 3 weeks from now, it might be, I need someone to come over and help me pack. Okay. And when you can kind of gauge where they're at in the process of holding on to letting go, then you can tailor what you can kind of like add on to that, like how you can push them a little bit more in that direction. I want someone to listen. I just need someone to listen. Okay, I'm here to listen to you. But I also think it would be really good if a therapist listened to you, right? Would you be open to a therapist? Now we're getting to the logistical part of how to help. What undoes us as people? Red tape, bureaucracy, phone calls. I remember when we were like growing up, and you might still be in the former phase of this, where our mom made all our doctor's appointments and then we had to start making them ourselves. And it was like, I can't do this. You had to call your insurance company. Well, who do you cover? Well, how much? And then you had to call the doctor's office. Would you take this insurance? Wait, is this what I have? When can I get an appointment? No, that doesn't work. And it's like those little logistical red tape bullshit situations make people go like, I can't do this. So for several months, I had a chest infection. I talked about it on my blog, Eat, Pray, Love, about how I had to go on steroids and how I was like booty calling guys at noon because I had like roid rage brain. I was like absolutely out of my mind. It was terrible. And it wasn't COVID. I had already had it. But I just couldn't, like, I didn't know how to just like go to the doctor and deal with it. And so I kept going to urgent care, and they're like, maybe it's allergies. And I was on albuterol. My point is, my mom was finally like, you need to see a pulmonologist. You need to see an internist. You need to see like actual specialists. And I'm like, which meant I was going to have to call my insurance, find out who's in my area, write the list down, call the doctor. Oh, he retired. Oh, we can't get you in. Oh, I don't think you need us. It was the hurdles of the red tape broadcast out in front of me that I'm like, I can't do this. I don't have the bandwidth to do this. And a chest infection is not an abusive relationship. There's no wrenching emotional component. There's no victim narrative. I don't deserve to leave. I don't deserve to be able to breathe and not cough. It was literally just the logistics. And I was like, Mom, you have to do this for me. And she's like, really? I'm like, you're retired. Yes. And I'm lucky that she did. She got me an appointment. I went in. My point is that those logistical things absolutely undid me. I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. And because I didn't, I put everything in the back burner until someone did it for me. Your friend probably feels that way about therapy or the domestic violence hotline or, the Stalker Act and finding an attorney or getting their finances together and going down to the bank and looking at their accounts and, okay, if you can help ameliorate some of that red tape, that will go so far, but you need to start with therapy. You have to start with therapy. Be like, I'm going to come over on Tuesday. Brian's going to be out of the house playing fucking Dungeons and Dragons with his dipshit friends, right? We're going to order Chinese. We're going to get out your insurance book, or I'm just going to call the company for you. You're going to give me your card. I'm going to make a list of 10 therapists. I'm going to call them all. We're going to get you set up with an appointment. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to sit there and look pretty. I'm going to do this all. Because when we do it for other people, it's not such a hardship. We're very neutral about it, But when it's us, we're like, even if it doesn't have that emotional component. And then you say, okay, if you think he's going to notice that you're going to therapy, say your therapy appointment's 5 p.m. every Tuesday. I'm going to come over at 5 p.m. We're going to pretend like we go play tennis at that time. I'm going to come over with a racket. I'm going to buy you a racket too. And we're going to be like, yes, we're going to play tennis. Our thing that we do, tennis, it's a sport. That's what it's called. It's called tennis. But we're going to be back in an hour. And I'm going to drive you to therapy. I'm going to sit in the parking lot. I'm going to drive you back. Okay? Until you feel comfortable doing it yourself. And if that takes 2 months, that's fine. I'm going to drive you every week no matter what. To take those things off someone's plate, to remove the physical obstacles and have just their emotional healing and focus be the priority will work wonders. Wonders. There's also the very real issue of financial control. We think that abuse is only someone smacking us across the face. And in a way, you're almost, my God, you're not lucky if that happens, but it's such a harsh version of it that it's easier to look that as actual abuse. When someone's controlling our money, why'd you spend $5 at Starbucks? You could have only spent $2 and gotten a drip coffee. What are you doing? If someone's controlling us sexually, he loves anal. I don't like to do it, but I do it because I don't want to lose him. Things like this. But let's focus on the finance, because this is what happens to, the vast majority of women. They cannot afford to leave. They can't. So you need to sit her down and be like, let's talk money. Let's get real clear. We're going to make a budget. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to write it down. We're going to do a fucking Excel spreadsheet. How much is your rent every month? How much are your student loans? How much money do you make? Do you have any extra income? How much is in your CD? Blah, blah, blah. And we're going to get real clear. You need data in order to make a plan, right? You can't change what you don't acknowledge. And a lot of women, when we're in an abusive or not even abuse, just toxic relationship, we just feel overwhelmed. We feel just like, I can't even do my laundry. When I was in a relationship, it wasn't abusive, but it was definitely overwhelming. I was like, I wake up every morning and I feel like I've already failed because there's so much on my to-do list. And without me even realizing it, this relationship is this black cloud hovering over everything that I feel like no matter how much I text him, it's not enough. I could spend 10 hours with him today. Well, why wasn't it 12? It doesn't matter if I see my friends once a month. Why do you need to see them all? It was just like this endless low-grade anxiety I had about it. And once I removed that, I felt like I had so much more emotional bandwidth. So help her remove as many things as she can until she can remove the big thing, which is the relationship, right? Pull up for her and be like, okay, you need $500 extra a month to afford an apartment by yourself. How can we figure out how to get this? Can we go and can we sell some of your stuff on eBay? You lay it out. I'm going to take pictures. I'll post it online. Okay. Or we're going to go down to the bank. Bank loans are they're very subjective. I always thought it was just like beep, bop, boop, crunch the numbers. And to a degree, you can't be like, I work at Arby's and I would like a $10 million loan. You're like, no. But if you go down there to a loan officer, a woman, and be like, hey, my friend, she's in an abusive marriage. She can't afford to leave. What kind of loan can we get her? This is her collateral. This is her car. This is her whatever. This is her business. What can we get her? You might get a woman who's been in that situation or who had a mom who's in that situation. You'd be like, you know what? We can only give you an extra $300 a month, but that's something. You don't know until you explore these options. And for the person in that situation, she's just like, she's just shell-shocked. She's just trying to keep her head above water, right? So do what you can. Go into general mode. Go into logistical data operation mode. Yeah, we want to love them. And yeah, we want to be there for them. But if you have the urge to like boss someone around, I do. You know, I'm a tough lover. I am a tough lover because because we care so much and we just want things to be better. Ugh. Okay. Channel that into logistical things, not into how you're speaking to her. That is going to make a huge difference. If you can come to someone with data and choices that she didn't have to source herself, be like, okay, look, I found you an apartment over here in Belgrade that's $700 a month. I found you one in Manhattan, Montana, that's $600 a month. Here's when you can move in. Here's when you can be out. Here's what you need for the deposit. Now we have some sort of plan. We have different forks to take in the road. And so she's going to feel like, okay, I can see life without him as being possible. When she's in it, she can't see that. It's just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And he wants it that way. He doesn't want to give her the bandwidth that she can like sit around and think about this. But that motherfucker Brian didn't bet on women like us. Now did he? No. He didn't bet that we've got something called Google. So we're going to show that little bitch man that we can be not just a cheerleader, but a coach, a planner, a delineator of options. We're going to fuel her with information. But here's the thing. We got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And as much as it is a testament to our character that we plug into our best friends and we want to help them and just we want what's best for them, we cannot veer into codependence. What is codependency? When we care more about someone's problems than they do. And we have to be realistic. If we look at a relationship, you know, our friend's relationship, and it's like, why are you with him? He's broke. Maybe it's not even abusive. Maybe it's just run-of-the-mill shitty. Run-of-the-mill fuckboy douchebag, holding her back, not good enough. You know what? She's choosing that relationship every single day. And whether or not we have the ability to understand why, it is happening. And my philosophy now with my friends in their relationship, because some of them I look and I'm like, yay, what a wonderful marriage. And others I'm just like, oh, if only you could see yourself the way I see you. If only I could see, if only you could believe the truth that, yeah, okay, leave your husband. It might suck for 6 months, but then, oh my God, you're probably going to meet like this amazing person, or you're going to meet yourself, the amazing person, and be happy. Be happy by yourself. We have to be able to be dispassionate. And my philosophy is, if you're happy, I'm happy. If you're happy, I'm happy. You know, different strokes for different folks. I'm sure the way I live my life baffles so many people. My friends with kids are like, don't you want them? And I'm like, don't you not want them? People who live in the city, I'm like, aren't you sick of that? They're like, why are you in the country? Different strokes. But I tell my friends, I'm like, look, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. But the second you stop being unhappy, I'm here for you. But if this works for you, okay. Okay. But I just want you to constantly ask yourself and check in with yourself, does this work for me? And I don't mean work by, it's familiar, it reminds me of my parents' toxic relationship. I don't think I can do any better. Does it truly feed me, nourish me, make me happier, make me a better person, make me excited to wake up every day? Is this a partner to me? We can lead a horse to water, we can't make him drink. And we can lead a best friend out of a relationship. She's got to take that step for herself. And people are very rarely ready when we think that they should be. I mean, look back on your relationships. When you've gone to your friends, like, you know what? I think I'm like done with Adam. And they're like, really? That's nice. It took you 8 months to catch up to where we've been, you know? And then then you're embarrassed. Then you're embarrassed and you tend to recede, right? It's like, well, fine. Maybe I'll just stay with him. And I'm going to prove you guys wrong. I don't want to be made to feel stupid. I don't want to hear I told you so. So refrain from saying that yourself. It's not easy. And it's so painful to watch someone you love go through something terrible. But with these techniques, we really can make so much more progress than we think we can. And we can also carry these techniques into our own life and help diagnose where we are. So we might do a follow-up on this, maybe not. I don't know. I'll see what you guys have to say. But either way, click like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you later, Shower Gators.